Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is Sheba Joy. Welcome to my channel Zion Shekinah Official. Zion means God's dwelling place. Shekinah is God's glory. Today we're going to look into Proverbs chapter 20, and it has verses 30, 20 and 30. Okay. Proverbs chapter 20, from verse 1. Wine is a mocker and beer brawler. Whoever is led astray by them is not wise. A king's wrath strikes terror like the roar of a lion. Those who anger him forfeit their lives. It is to one's honor to avoid strife, but every fool is quick to quarrel. Sluggards do not plow in season, so at harvest time they look but find nothing. The purpose of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. Many claim to have unfailing love, but a faithful person who can find? The righteous lead blameless lives. Blessed are the children after them. Amen. When a king sits on his throne to judge, he winnows out all evil with his eyes. That means he's a wise king. Who can say, I have kept my heart pure? I am clean and without sin. Differing weights and differing measures, the Lord detests them both. Even small children are known by their actions, so is their conduct really pure and upright. Ears that hear and eyes that see, the Lord has made them both. Do not love sleep or you will grow poor. Stay awake and you will have food to spare. It's no good, says the buyer. Then goes off and boasts about the purchase. That means he's double-minded. Gold there is, and rubies in abundance, but lips that speak knowledge are rare jewel. Take the garment of one who puts up security for a stranger. Hold it in pledge if it is done for an outsider. Food gained by fraud tastes sweet, but one ends up with a mouthful of gravel. Plans are established by seeking advice, so if you wage war, obtain guidance. A gossip betrays a confidence, so avoid anyone who talks too much. If someone curses their father or mother, their lamp will be snuffed out in pitch darkness. An inheritance claimed too soon will not be blessed at the end. Do not say, I'll pay you back for this wrong. Wait for the Lord, and he will avenge you. The Lord detests different weights and dishonest scales. Do not please him. A person's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand their own way? So true. This is so important. It is a trap to dedicate something rashly and only later to consider one's vows. A wise king winnows out the wicked. He drives the threshing wheel over them. This is another verse that is actually repeating him, and it has a different meaning at the end. The human spirit is a lamp to the Lord that sheds light on one's inmost being. Love and faithfulness keep a king safe. Through love, his throne is made secure. The glory of young men is their strength. Gray hair, the splendor of the old. Blows and wounds scrub away evil, and beatings purge the inmost being. So if you look at Proverbs 20, chapter 20, we'll pick up few verses and ponder on them and meditate and see what the Lord is saying about them, because it's so important to understand the word of God as it is, right? not like diluting it or not adding or deleting anything from it. So here, Proverbs 20, it says, wine is a mocker and a beer brawler. Uh, Whoever is led astray by them is not wise. See, people say, where is it written in the Bible that we shouldn't drink? Can't you see this verse, folks? Wine is a mocker, it says, and beer a brawler. Does the Bible say, drink only one glass of wine, one glass of beer, and then you will be fine? Does it say that? No. It says wine itself, whether you take 1 glass or 1 ounce or 1 pinch or whatever that measurement is, or 1 ml, I think, because it's a liquid, milliliters, it's still a marker, it says in the Bible. And beer, a brawler. That means it'll make you lose your senses. So it's there in the Bible. And people say, where is it? So here it is in Proverbs 20, chapter, verse 1. And verse 5. Because, when people drink alcohol, their lives, not only do they spoil their lives, but also, excuse me, they ruin the lives of the family. And this is a good verse to tell the drunkards or other drinking people if they ask why. Where does it say? Then we can show them this. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 1. And verse 5. The purpose of a person's hearts are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. Isn't it? Because, a person might, again, it's like a person planning many things in his heart, but if they have insight, then they will put them also into action. 6. Many claim to have unfailing love, but a faithful person who can find? True, right? I mean, love is different from being faithful, right? I mean, faithful and love are very different. One can love a person and sometimes they may not be faithful at all. One can, right, in a sense that, just because you love a person, it doesn't mean that he's going to be faithful to you. Or just because, he says that he loves you, or she says that she loves you, it doesn't mean that they're going to be faithful. Both are very different. Both are like, love is an action, and being faithful person is actually, what do you call that? Is a discipline. I mean, is also a discipline, but it's also something that comes out from heart. I mean, it's a way of saying to oneself that I will always be like this no matter what. That means saying to oneself that no matter whether I love or don't love, and whatever that may be, I will always be faithful to you. So that's important. But here God is talking about, like, many claim to have unfailing love. They say a lot of things about love. But a faithful person who can find, they can say all those things and yet not be faithful, right? We have seen so many lives, just went, they were spoiled by these guys, or some women spoiled men's lives, and men spoiled the women's lives by just giving them the false promises, saying that they're very faithful, their love towards them is very, like, unfailing. It can never die, it can never go dry, it can never this, never that, and all that. But they were never faithful in the walk of journey of the commitment they made. So that is what God is saying here. 7. The righteous lead blameless lives. Blessed are the children after them. So true. the righteous lead the blameless life. The righteous do lead blameless lives, right? Why? Because again, they fear God, they want to live in the obedience of God, and they want to do what God wants them to do. So they live a blameless life, and their children, I believe, they will be blessed. Why? Because it says, right, whatever we do, we carry on to the seventh generation. Our goods will be carried to the seventh generation, and we'll be seeing blessings in the children's life. But if you are bad and do bad things, then those curses will be carried to the children, to the seventh generation. 8. When a king sits on his throne to judge, he winnows out all evil with his eye. Like, who is a king? A king is a wise person. That's why he has that authority to sit on the throne. That he is the king who's seated over all, over everything: land, beast, animal, and people. So when he sees, he winnows out all the evil with his eyes. That means he sees everything that is like so winnows means that the king is separating the evil. I mean, he's seeing the evil, he's analyzing everything and all that. It also means that here king means who judge, sits on the throne to judge. Here king means is also our Jesus, our God. Why? Because he's seated on the throne, and when he sees evil, he's separating everything, at this time and age where the elect will be chosen, the elect will come forward to do what God wants them to do, and the wicked will be wiped out. So 10. Differing weights differing weights and differing measures, the Lord detests them both. That means, how you weigh a person. For example, you can weigh many things, right? Usually we weigh our groceries, and we weigh gold, we weigh commodities, we weigh everything. But the but God is saying that differing weights, meaning that, suppose see, it usually happens in shops and stores and all that in India. When a person is saying that I'm giving you 1 kg of rice or 10 kgs of rice, it's never like that. That 10 kgs of rice, their weights are very, very wrong. They're very corrupt. It goes to like 8 kgs of rice instead of 10. So it's like that. I mean, not 8, but 9.5 or something like that. So they do a lot of cheating like that. So God is saying that I'm going to be very angry with such. He detests such things. That means he is angry about such things. And measures also, and also here weights, meaning that when we see a person, we weigh them, right? Sometimes we say, oh, that person is not good and all that, when he might be all good. Or the person is not, just on the demeanor that we see them, or the approach they have to, or the normal way they look, we might underestimate or overestimate or not estimate in the right way, and things like that. So God is saying such kind of weights also he detests. So, and measures again, how much do you measure meaning, like if I say I'm going to give you let's say I'm going to give you 10 kgs of rice. I'm going to send 10 kgs of rice. But then what I promised, I don't do that. I might only send 8 kgs of rice to that person. So that kind of measuring, saying one thing and not doing that, saying something else and doing something else. So that kind of measures God detests, he's saying. And this is so important. See, verse 11, even small children are known by their actions, so is their conduct really pure and upright. So is their conduct pure, really pure? So God is saying that small children are known by their actions. See, children go and fight, children go and do a lot of wrong things and all that. But when parents come, instead of like correcting some children, they say, "Oh, he's just a child. She's just a child. She has done something like that with because she's just a child." But here God is saying, "No, no, it's not like that." God is not even talking about children. He's saying small children are known by their actions because the psychologists the psychologists also have seen and have said that children from the age of 5 they think the world thinks. They think almost like a little bit of an like a little bit of an adult, because by then their motives, their actions, their heart, their everything is all already trained by the age of 5. So that's why they say teach a child from the age of 1 to 5 everything. We might think that, oh, 1-year-old may not understand anything, 2-year-old may not understand anything, and all that. But no, it's not like that. Because why? One example, when the child was in in Mary's womb, when Jesus was in Mary's womb, when John the Baptist was in Elizabeth's womb, when they met together, what happened? The Holy Spirit, God, uh, brought them joy, and then so they leaped with joy. It says in Elizabeth's womb. So the child hears, and then scientifically it's true. The fetus hears. The fetus, as soon as it has a heartbeat, the fetus hears, he or she, and the fetus feels and knows and everything. So when the fetus is able to know and comprehend and understand and feel everything around the little womb that they're in, how much more the children know their actions, how much more they know what they're doing. So we can't support the children in a wrong way. Have to be good disciplinarians. 14, uh, excuse me, it's no good, it's no good. Did we complain? So here, and also God is saying in chapter 20, verse 11, so is their conduct really pure and upright? Wow, it's a big statement, right? So God is asking us, saying to us, is the children's conduct, small children's conduct, is it really pure and upright? So that we have to have discernment in knowing, which I think is not, because small children from the age of 5, they're all small children, and they know what they're doing, but we can't support them in the wrong. But we need to admonish and we need to correct them when they're wrong. And also, verse 14, it's no good, says the buyer. Then goes off and boasts all out the purchase, like a double standard person, saying one thing and doing one thing. Um, Being very conniving, being very cunning, in the dealings. Such people, say such things. 17. Food gained by fraud tastes sweet, but one ends up with a mouthful of gravel. That means, people think, oh, you got this food by fraud, meaning that they have bought that food with a lot of fraud and doing illegal things, doing wrong things, doing things against God. And they think that they're eating, a very happy meal. They feel very happy eating that kind of meal and food. But what is God saying? It's not like that, because ultimately it will end up in their mouth as gravel, whether they realize it or not. It's like it ends up as stones in their mouth, as small stones. So sometimes when people don't clean well, these days we're having rice without like any stones and all that. But when I was small, I used to see maids in the house, taking out all the stones from the rice. There used to be so many stones. But suppose if they don't do a thorough cleaning of removing the stones from the rice, and when it is cooked and we eat it, one small stone, uh, when we chew it, it becomes so sensitive in the teeth and so irritating in the teeth. So just imagine. So God is saying that food gained by ill-gotten means, by doing fraud, by illegal and all those things, is like a person at the end, it might feel very good to them when they're chewing, when they're eating, when they're seeing and all that. But as they're eating, and it ends up, God is saying that it ends up in their mouth as a as full gravel. And verse 20. Verse 20, it says, if someone curses their father or mother, their lamp will be snuffed out in pitch darkness. Which means that, cursing means, also not taking care of them, being rude to them, being disrespectful, being obnoxious, being disobedient, being, doing every wicked thing with them. God is saying, it's actually a very profound verse. God is saying that He's going to snuff their lamp. He's going to snuff their lamp out in pitch darkness. That means God is going to put them to death in pitch darkness. In pitch darkness, it can also mean that they're going to end up in hell. It also means that God is going to put them to death in no time, or when like no one even is thinking or assuming, they in the middle of the night, or in like when everything is very like calm in the in the surroundings, when everybody is not even thinking that that's going to happen, God is going to do that to them. So why? Because God is very big on obedience, about loving, also on loving people, loving parents most importantly. Because why? God represents, He Himself calls, when He came on the earth, He has called Himself as a son. And He was an obedient son to His parents, Mary and Joseph. And so He has taken this, a family of, children and parents, very seriously. So God is saying that, and for them, see, it's not even an adultery that God is talking about, that they will be put to death. It's a serious thing, It's more serious than that adultery thing, because God is saying that if these people, if the children curse their parents, they will be put to death. 21. An inheritance claimed too soon will not be blessed at the end. This is so true. Why? Because some children are going after parents' properties and and their money and their accounts, and they're doing all kinds of forgery and illegal things with the hard-earned money that the parents have, or the lands they have, or the properties they have, and all that. But God is clearly saying that when and it is so true, folks, because when God doesn't, when parents don't bless them, but bless their children, and want to give their land or money or their property and all that, when they're not prepared to do that, and the children take them by force, God is clearly saying that it will not be blessed at the end. They might take it. They might take by illegal means, by fraud, by cursing their parents, by doing what not illegal things, But, and I have faced this also in my family. But whatever it is, God is saying that it will not be blessed at the end. They might take it, but from that day it becomes a curse for them. Why? Because it is see, gifts are to be received well, right? Gifts are to be received with, see, if I want to give a gift to my daughter, I give grudgingly, I give unwillingly, I give with like lot of, not with happiness. How does it sound? I mean, how does it feel? How does it seem actually in the first place? It's not a gift. And the second thing is, such kind of gifts, even she receiving it will not be happy about that. So when a gift is given, I should be very happy about giving that gift to my daughter. I should feel very um, good about it, and I should want to do that. I should want to give it to her. Then only it's called a gift. But otherwise, some children in today's world, they want to grab everything the parents have earned. And when that happens, God is saying that it will not be a blessing, but it will be a curse. And 24, a person's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand their own way? How true it is. It is also a very profound verse. And we've seen this in so many chapters, and even I think in this chapter it has repeated, but with a different meaning. Like it says here, a person's steps are directed by the Lord. Yes, but how then can anyone understand their own way? See, those who trust in the Lord, their steps are always directed by the Lord. But sometimes, as humans, we feel, how can this happen? How can that happen? How can this really happen? I mean, is it going to happen at all? So, these kind of doubts, these kind of fears come to a person's mind. But God is saying, when the steps itself, and what is a step? When a child, a toddler, is walking, the parents make sure that they hold both their hands and they make the child, take one step at a time, or they put in a this walker and make sure that the walker is not wobbly or anything like that, and they make sure that it's very firm, and they make the child go take one step at a time, and then that has wheels to enable the child move forward. Or what happens, the parents physically hold the child, and they make sure that the child takes just one step, not 10 steps. So why? Because they know at each step they can direct that each step that it is done well. So and the Lord is saying, when a person's steps are directed so much by God, how can they know and understand their own way? That means they can't, right? Like, if see, the child will not know where a toddler will not know where he's walking. Only the parents will know, because the parents are directing the toddler's footsteps. So also with us, when God is directing us in our steps, we will not know the way at all. We will not know in which direction it's leading to, which means that we need to rely on God like that, because our steps are directed by God, and we're walking with that confidence. We're walking with that faith. At the same time, when we are doing that, we can question. But at times, our human mind keeps thinking about many things and also fearing about many things. That shouldn't happen, God is saying. It's a very nice verse, actually. It's a very profound verse. 26. We read that it's the same thing again about the wise king. 27, the human spirit is the lamp of the Lord that sheds light on one's inmost being. See, so true. Why? Because God gave us life, right? And God gave us that life to eternity. So that's why God is saying that lamp is like a light. That lamp is like that spirit is the lamp of the Lord. That means because God has given that, He's calling that as a Lord's spirit, and that sheds light on one's inmost being. See, however, we want to dim it with wicked ways, the light is dimmed. We want to shine bright for the Lord, it's shown very brightly for the Lord. So, and what happens in return? When such kind of life, when such kind of light is seen in one's life, it also shows out how that person is living in the world, right? So this is what God is talking about. It's also a very beautiful verse, actually. It is a very spiritual one. I mean, a very deep verse. And 29. The glory of the young men is their strength, gray hair, the splendor of the old. See, each stage of man or woman has many duties and different accomplishments, different things that they are supposed to do. They're supposed to do. But some young people think that old people are waste, and some old people think that young people are waste. Should not be the case. Why? Because at every stage of man, their uh, their responsibilities change, their work changes, their duty changes. They have to do different things. So God is saying that you can't underestimate and say, oh, the guy who's a young guy can do much more things, and a guy who's kind of like older than him cannot do those things. It's not the case. Why? Because what the man can do, maybe the older man cannot. Maybe the older man is not able to do in the same way that this guy is doing. At the same time, what the young man is able to do, what the older man is able to do, is not exactly the same. The younger man can do that. So each age, each stage of man is very different, and people, and young and old, need to respect those stages of life in their lives. And why? Because um, and sometimes they say old is gold, which is true, I think. Why? Because they have so much of um, wisdom, and experience and all that, and strength, and then they've fallen but they've risen back. That confidence is there, that not doing the mistakes again and is there. So a lot of things are there also. So we need to know that it's very important to understand the stages of people, the stages of man and women, like men and women, the responsibilities during that age. That's why God is not saying here. So when God is you know glorifying both the ages of man, both the stages of man, no one should, I think, demean and say, oh, you're old, you can't do this, oh, you're young, you can't do that, and all that stuff. So why? Because God here is saying that the glory of young men is their strength. When they're young, they have strength. But if they don't utilize that, then that's also a problem. They're not doing the right thing. And gray hair, the splendor of the old. Splendor meaning the majesty, the elegance, and everything. So this is what God is talking about, the stages of man. So this is what it is. And thank you. And I think I'll stop because 29 and okay, there are 30 verses. Let's do that. 30th verse. Blows and wounds scrub away evil, but beatings purge the inmost being. See, sometimes we get a blow from in a very unhappy situation, or there are wounds caused by different. Sometimes people hurt us, and there are wounds caused in that. And it says that they scrub away evil. That means all these things, whatever they might be, they might, God is saying that they might remove evil and all that. It's not evil. But the beatings purge the inmost being. Beatings meaning time and again when things happen in a very notorious way. Time and again when things happen in a way to a person that actually hurts their heart, that actually becomes burdensome, that actually, see, sometimes they say, she doesn't have tears in her eyes but she cries in her heart. So such kind of things, God is saying that it purges the inmost being, which means it just shrinks, it becomes very sad and all that stuff. So how true that is. So this is what God is talking about. So thank you all so much for listening, and may the Lord bless this word. Thank you.